This is episode 223 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm your host, Dion Morales, and today I'm joined by Marcel. Pitchforks are wholesome. Manzano.
They kind of are.
Will the complete game is wait, hold on. Will the complete game is the friends you made along the way, Hagewood?
Should never put quotes inside of quotes.
And Ryan, no AC need air mattress, Staniszewski.
Yeah, my basement is noticeably cooler without AC, and there's no bed in the basement. Therefore, probably gonna get an air mattress this week.
That's right. Well, thank you so much for joining us to.
So when you do air quotes inside of air quotes, does that mean like you gotta go like two quotes, like Is that how it works? Quotes.
I don't know. Now I'm just confused. What are we doing?
I can't
with
do
our
it with
hands
this
now?
end, or else I would.
Well, yeah.
But quotes inside of quotes.
Yes, exactly.
Usually, if it's quotes inside of quotes, it's 2 and 1, so it'll be more like this.
Don't. Audio
Oh,
listeners, you saved yourself. Dodged a bullet on that one.
Oh man. Okay. All right. We're recording a podcast, right? Let's go. Announcements. Tatooine is coming up. Our next Galactic Championship qualifier. It is September 4th. It is an extended event, and it is happening during the UTC +2 time zone. That's the same as Cape Town, South Africa. But those of you who are maybe not familiar with African time zones, don't freak out. It's the same as Germany, right? Just above it. Time zones go up and down. So if you want to play, come and join us. I did see we have about 90-ish tickets sold at the moment. So if you wanted to jump in, the time is nigh. Limited target locks are still available. Also on screen for you all right now is our podcast or Gold Squadron's overall release schedule that we'll be following for the next couple months, so that you know what is happening. So Mondays, of course, in the morning, we're going to be dropping a replay from our streams, our game streams. Monday nights on Twitch, live right here, 8:30, so on and so forth. You can watch it right there. Those of you who are only listening, essentially, you get some type of YouTube video every day, except on Thursdays. Going to be dropping on our YouTube channel. And, of course, we are still live every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday on the Twitch channel, and sometimes on Sunday if we have events. Also, Gold Squadron Paint Wars is moving to Wednesdays release at 10 a.m. Okay, we are no longer doing a YouTube premiere like we have in the last the first 4 episodes. I know some people were like, wait, what are you doing? So after doing some research and experimenting, essentially what we were discovering is that the early posting of the video was hurting our reach for the videos. Because what was happening is YouTube is calculating it as, well, it was the video was quote unquote posted when you like have the premiere open, and it was hurting us because nobody was watching for those couple days because you can't watch it until it premieres. It's super strange. But yeah, this is going to be going up on our website. It'll be posted on Discord and all that, but this will keep you up to date on that. The only the only time on the schedule that is going to be flexing sometimes, of course, that Saturday morning time, because if we have an event, then we might be starting at a different time depending on the time zone, etc. But if it's normal, we start at 9 a.m. And it is time to go ahead and jump into our topics. Actually, somebody here in the chat says, Libo, would it be easier to stream it on Twitch? I don't want to stream it on Twitch, because I need you to watch it on YouTube. It's a YouTube series, so I need as many people on YouTube. If I stream it for you on Twitch, I'm hurting the YouTube reach. We're trying to build up the YouTube channel, which is why we are doing it. And on Thursdays, we're going to start our Paint Wars community challenges. We're going to be posting that on our Instagram, also on our Discord, and you can find out more about that on Thursday. I will say no more. Our podcast is brought to you by our GSP patrons. Thank you to everybody who has become a patron. You can go to patreon.com/Gold Squadron to get yourself set up with our next wave of gifts, which features Shadow Squadron. All right, we're jumping into our first topic of the day. This week, my friends, we got 3 new pilots revealed by AMG. So let's go ahead and talk about them just a bit. The first one we're going to talk about here, Chorus Capellum. What do we got here, Ryan?
Chorus Capellum, the Gentleman Flyer. Initiative 1, before you engage, you may choose one ship in your firing arc at range 0 to 1. If you do, transfer 1 green token from that ship to yourself. So notice it says 1 ship, friend or foe. So if you have a friend that hasn't used a green token and you would like to use it when you engage, grab it from your friend. Or you could be Palab Jr. and start taking green tokens from enemies. Granted, they likely have engaged already, so have had the opportunity to use their tokens offensively or even defensively, since you might have other ships in your list that shoot before and force it to spend tokens defensively as well. So it's a Palab light at most, and with a little bit of flexibility on the friendly side. As we know and have seen, there are plenty of times where there are green tokens on the board that don't get used by the end phase, so Chorus can make sure that he has a chance to use them through modification.
And Swarm Tactics.
Or use Swarm Tactics, correct. That is another combo potentially you can put with Chorus to increase Chorus to a higher initiative, making that before you engage earlier and more deadly to the enemy ships.
So what do we think about this? This seems interesting to me. I did think of the Swarm Tactics idea there, Marcel. It being 0 to 1 has me a little concerned on using it against enemy ships.
You definitely want a turret, so at minimum you're taking dorsal. I think you want to boost a lot to get closer to people, so engine upgrade might be a thing you take as part of your intuitive interface combination, which would help. I think it's, minor spoiler, I guess, but I think it's better than the other 2 we're going to look at. It's the best of this lot. I don't think it's the best Y-Wing we've seen, but there's potential.
All right.
I think it could work well if you're not focusing solely on the Palab Light aspect, if you partner with all those other previously shown named Y-Wings that like passing those calculates around everywhere. I'd have to look them up, but there's 2 of them. One that gets to send one back in the back half, and another one that just gets to move it around, or the droid that gets to move it around. So might work in a squad that likes to move tokens around.
All right, well, let's take a look at the next one. We got Kai Trinali. What do we got here, Marcel?
We got a Y-Wing.
The Tenacious Survivor.
That it is, a Tenacious Survivor. After you fully execute a maneuver, if you move through a friendly ship, you may perform an evade action. So, yeah. Like Ryan said, it's not terrible, but it's got to be a friendly ship, can't be an enemy ship. Means you're flying in formation with probably some other initiative twos to be able to choose who moves when. And you have to fully execute the maneuver, means you can't bump it. So, I don't know. It's a lot to get one evade on a 1 agility ship. Meh.
For people who don't recognize, for some, because it's not often played, Kai was also in the Heralds of Hope in a T-70 at I-4, which is weird because I don't know if they're doing this on purpose, but Kai being at I-2 and I-4 is right around that nice I-3. There's that a bunch of the Resistance likes to fly formation or near each other, so it's like they're dancing around, allowing Kai to be maybe easier with the leapfrogging each other at I-3. So I think Kai was better at I-4 barring the chassis than at I2. I think there's more I4 in resistance than I2.
You know what I think the most interesting thing about this this card is? In the background, we have a Thai Dorito. Actually, what is that? What's the Thai Dagger, right?
Tie Dagger, yeah. I'm calling it now. Like I said, the next set of resistance ships, Tie Dagger and Resistance B-Wing.
There you go. Yeah, maybe a dual pack. But yeah, so we see it. We see a Thai Dagger in the background. In fact, you see two of them. So you know, I will tell you in maybe Will, you've seen it in our editing folder. I have a set of what if I was designing the Thai Dorito, what I would make it look like. I haven't released the video mostly because I haven't had a chance to sit down and record it. But I've been thinking about this one for a while, and I have some ideas on what it could look like. I'm curious to see what what FFG did when it gets released. But that's Kai, and then last but not least, we got one more wine we need to take a look at. What do we got, Will?
All right, this is Wilsa Thessold?
Oh,
it's an O.
Teshlo.
Slow. All right. Anyways, this is an Initiative 4 pilot and says after you perform an attack, if the defender was dealt a face-up damage card, the defender gains 1 strain token unless it chooses 1 non-recurring charge from one of its equipped upgrades and loses that charge. So, obviously, if you're trying to deal some face-up damage cards, you'd be looking at that wartime loadout where crits can't be canceled in the bullseye, kind of an auto blaster effect for that. Initiative 4, you can maybe get some bullseyes on there. Hopefully, it has a talent slot, so we can put marksmanship in there. Start really putting through those face-up damage cards. I do think it's a lot of work for 1 strain. This is kind of just a if it happens ability. I don't think you can really, unless you're going the wartime loadout, it's going to be hard to proc this. Maybe just slapping a proton torpedo onto it, but you still need the wartime loadout, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. 2 shields, lock action, lose that calculates when you take actions. But you get that torpedo, which could be advanced or regular proton torpedo, and you get the while you perform an attack. If the defender's in your bullseye, your crit results cannot be canceled by evade results. So, like I said, advanced proton torpedo, regular proton torpedo. I got mag pulse as the potential for shooting targets without shields, utilizing that missile slot. But still, this is, like I said, one of those pilots. If you're already going to bring a torpedo Y-Wing, you might as well bring this pilot. I don't think it's a lot to invest for 1 strain, you know?
So here's something that I kind of have on the back of my mind. The design of a lot of these Y-Wings, at least when we look at the abilities, seem a little bit lackluster, like just a little bit, when compared to something like the T-70s and the RZ-2A wings. Do we think that they kind of got to the Y-Wings and went, oh man, we can't really make these better than the A-Wings, because then all of a sudden the power level goes too high? I don't know. I am currently underwhelmed by the Y-Wings.
I think I would counter that with their intuitive interface already gives them action economy. And Ryan, you said it, the one ability that we are looking at was the one that gave even more action economy. So like it's going to be hard to make multiples of them that kind of double down on that. You know, you get free locks, you get to steal calculates, things like that. So I'm sad that we don't see more of a support ability from one of them. I know the one guy can pass the token backwards, but that's I3.
I mean, looking at these, I mean, who knows once they're on the table and when they're costed, but most of these situations, you're probably better off just bringing Covenel with like, or Rose with you know, like there's other pieces that add economy, like action economy or extra rerolls or extra tokens with C3PO and things like that. So I don't, you know, yeah, I don't know where they're gonna fit, but I'm sure they will. It's just hard to think where they fit when there's already so many other good pieces that get a lot of action economy with heroic, with C3PO coordinating, rerolls, Finn getting infinite rerolls, just a lot of stuff. And so I don't know, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we assume that these have to be cheaper than T70s. They also have to be more expensive than Resistance pods, even though Rose is probably still going to fit in most Resistance lists anyway. She's just very, very good for her cost. Where do they float around the A-Wings, I guess, is the question. And then do you put yourself in a situation where you have to choose, do I go a little more beefy to guaranteed health, or do I go with the A-Wings that have to spend, I think, similar amount of points or just a little more with to get as consistent offense with something like advanced optics, whereas the Y-Wings with that intuitive interface just need to spend enough to get a turret, so a dorsal, and targeting computer, just the same amount of points as advanced optics, but then you have a more flexible, maybe double mod. You got to get the locks, so lower initiatives won't really jive with that as well against higher initiatives, so it's just how the lock mechanic works, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's interesting they bring up points because we do have a 2 attack dice, 8 health ship in Resistance, the transport, but it costs 32 points, which is a lot for that platform. Like the cheapest Y-Wing right now that does have 8 health is the Red Squadron Bomber in Republic. And I would say that the base is the shield worth that calculate? Are those comparable to being the same?
That's a really good question. Also, to think about the entire action bar besides the focus is red too. The dial's better on the Resistance Y-Wing than it is on the Republic Y-Wing. So there's a lot of back and forth that can make it the same cost as the Republic Y-Wing. I don't know if it could. Should it be one or more? I don't know.
And maybe
what, the designers think.
Maybe the action bar, because on its own, without anything extra, maybe the action bar also being red is a function of trying to get that cost down as well. It's like, listen, if you're not going to do anything to make those actions white and you really want to run it stripped down, maybe there could be some type of beneficial build that has it where you just strip down as much as possible.
Yeah, the thing with intuitive interface is you have to still spend points to get that anyway.
Right.
You need an upgrade card to activate intuitive interface. So is that going to be part of the cost on top of the 1 less health overall?
Exactly. So, well, those are those Y-Wings. Again, they're supposed to be coming out in a month from now, a month and a day. September 24th is when they're slated to hit the shelves. So if you haven't gotten your pre-orders in, the time is nigh to go ahead and do those. Now, we're going to go into a little bit more of a stickier topic today. Okay? A stickier topic. You're pointing
at the ship behind me.
You're pointing at the ship behind you. I was like, what are you pointing at? All right, so we'll go ahead. We'll flip views here. If you haven't heard, AMG made this announcement this week. And I'll go ahead and just read it first for our audio listeners. It says, Atomic Mass Games to the top, Star Wars Armada. As we move into 2022 and beyond, we are excited to continue support of Star Wars Armada by prioritizing repaints of existing products and through organized play initiatives. However, we currently do not have any new Armada products in development. We will provide additional information as it becomes available. So this here's my concern, and this the reason why I brought it up is that there was a lot of branches when this got announced for every Legion players and X-Wing players specifically. All of us or many of us looked at this and said, what are the implications for our game? So Armada here, they're not saying that it's dead. And I know I said that in our GSP chat earlier, and Ryan's like, it's not dead, but history will remind us of Imperial Assault, that FFG, this was a few years ago, announced, we're not developing any new product, we're going to keep reprinting, and there'll still be organized play. And then a couple years later, they used the words, it is a complete game. And my question, and I would like to know kind of your thoughts, you have any emotions behind this, does this mean anything for X-Wing? Can it mean, I mean, I'm gonna keep my thoughts closed here for a second. I'd like to hear from you guys first. Feel free to jump in.
William.
I'll take it. My first reaction to this is mostly focused on the prioritizing of existing products and organized play, which because I'm in that same mindset of what if this announcement said X-Wing and not Armada? What would my opinions of it be? And I think that this may be what Ryan's description of it of being dead would be, or a complete game would be, that I don't think it's dead if there's still tournaments going on, if there's still products on the shelf. I think that that's the base minimum to keep a community going, which is getting new players and having events that those new players and old players can come together to. So, I mean, this is still good for Armada players. Like, they can the hope of organized play is what I think everybody who plays these Asmodee board games is looking for. It's what really got us into the community, I think, is those little store kits, so regional here and there, and then opening up into the convention model. It's really where you get that, what do I say, widespread attention for your game. So I don't think that it would be it's we don't have to carve out the tombstone yet, but I think that AMG is definitely buying the burial plot. If I'm they are
making the preparations.
They're preparing for the death of it, but they still want to see if there's a chance for it to survive. They're not pulling the plug. I got more death analogies. Don't worry.
Marcel, what do you think? Business. You put your businessman hat on. What are you thinking? What does this tell you?
So you guys are not calling it cactus yet. You're not ready to kick it off the planet. Cactus, that's how they say dead in Australia. If you want cactus, that means you're dead.
I've never heard this before.
Because you're not in Australia. And actually, you were in Australia. So
I was in Australia. Apparently nobody died around me while I was there, so I didn't hear it.
I know. Well, they're saying that about Armada right about now. So anyway, it's not dead. It's not dead, but it's the writing's on the wall. And I think it just even with the organized play, you can if you look back, organized play was never really for Armada. Was never Armada wasn't drawing 400, 500 people to a tournament. It just wasn't pulling those numbers. So even more support on organized play, it's going to make a small community smaller, and it's kind of, without new content, it's going to go that way. And again, I can make a lot of assumptions, and I can also make a lot of connections going back to what I see on the X-wing side of it. That isn't necessarily glowing review. Not I'm not going to say glowing reviews, but it's just not as warm and fuzzy as some other people like to be. Which I'm trying to walk the thin line of like not being overly critical, but because I think there's some good things and I think there's a lot of opportunity as it relates to X-wing. But I'm in the camp that you got to show me something, and I don't feel like AMD has shown something. Like even like on the X-wing side of it, like oh well now they're doing X-wing releases and they're doing a Facebook post about it every night. You know, Ryan Farmer's gonna love me for this one, but yeah, an intern can take a PDF and post it on Facebook. So yeah, I know Ryan Farmer loves those intern comments. But I don't know. I'm like I don't know. I think going back to like what does this mean? It definitely means that they're not putting their focus on it. It means that we went from an FFG group that had the people that developed it. There was a support around it. There was an organized play around it. And then you had employees for AMG that were working on Crisis Protocol, and they were building out that game, and they were building out the community around that team. And you consolidated. So you consolidated the product, but you did not. You consolidated the product and cut the staff in half or less. That's going to impact. You can't take 10 people and turn it to 5 and say, okay, now you're going to produce the same amount of results. It's just not going to happen. And then you add on top of that the learning curve of having to learn the game, having to learn the motivations of why decisions were made, having to learn like the tribal knowledge of like what happened 3 years ago, like which landmines not to step on 3 years ago, why Twin Laser Turret is bad, or I don't know enough about Armada to know any of that. But the whole point that I'm trying to make is you can't put that much work on the same amount of team and expect them to put out the same amount of output. The things are going to have to get, either you're going to have to increase your staff or you're going to have to cut things. And Armada just doesn't draw the same type of excitement, doesn't draw the same type of the same amount of sales, the same amount of people that show up to play it, the same amount. I mean, is there an Armada podcast anywhere? I mean, there's a ton of X-Wing podcasts and content.
I'm aware of a few of them, but
there probably is, but they're just probably a smaller niche. Even Marvel Crisis Protocol has like a community that's like building up. I've seen Legion with a fair amount of like buzz around it. So I don't know. I'm talking in circles, but I'm trying to be not too critical. But I don't. It's not a personal thing against AMG. I just think they were put in a difficult situation where they got told like, hey, now you got to do, 4 times the amount of work, and oh, by the way, we're not going to give you any extra people to do it with. And here's if you work on Lamborghinis, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, here you go, there's a Tesla. I'm like, oh, what do you want me to do with that? like where does the gasoline go? Like, I don't know. So it's just so again, it's not a personal thing at AMG. I just think that they got put in a difficult position for with what happened.
Ryan?
Yeah, so I think it's mostly the limited resources, both time and manpower, where, yes, they got transferred over from FFG to AMG. And I think the team at this point at AMG versus the team at FFG is smaller. So, like, there's even less manpower to handle all those games. And AMG is already trying to make sure Marvel Crisis Protocol does as good as it can. So you have Marvel Crisis Protocol, then you have Armada, Legion, and X-Wing. And it's really not much of a surprise at least I don't think it should be a surprise for most people, but Armada was probably the least profitable amongst all of 4 of those games. And because remember, what AMG is delivering right now was still everything FFG was already had in their pipeline working through to release in the coming year. So if they didn't have anything for Armada, and AMG is trying to not only make sure that they finish off what was already put in production by FFG, but also make sure they maintain what they have with Marvel Crisis Protocol and start prepping for their own development of releases within Legion and X-Wing, which are the more profitable games by comparison to Armada. I think it's a necessity, unfortunately, in this situation. But I think there can be some good that comes out of it because they made the decision that Armada needs to, like, we are going to let the community know that to not expect Armada new releases until further notice, until they let the community know, which they are very communicative about that, which is good. That they are still saying that they're prioritizing reprints and still provide organized play experience, for them to give themselves time to make sure their level's set with X-Wing and Legion. Sure, that's prioritizing those other games, but it's not, they're not saying the tactic, all right, we still got to keep doing something with all these games and then losing some quality somewhere along the line in one of those releases because they're overbooking themselves. They're doing too much trying to keep up. So they've put forth and said, we're slowing down Armada for the benefit of, internally likely for the benefit of themselves and not overworking themselves, making sure their quality is up to snuff with everything that they want to create, and have the necessary manpower and resources at the right times to continue the Armada line.
And I think another part of this is in the original press releases, when the Star Wars games were moving over to AMG, they also at the beginning said, like, oh, the staff is going to be transferring over. There's going to be people who are working on the game. And one of the things that we've seen is these developers get let go, right? Like these people who are working on these games. And there was even another one more recently. I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head, but there was yet another. Say it again.
Luke Eddy, he was one of the leads on Legion.
There you go. So, like, they're hemorrhaging staff. They're hemorrhaging staff. I'm not surprised that this happened. And I think you guys are right. It is a prioritization on games that, at least from our perspective, I think we can all agree that it seems to us that X-Wing and Legion likely make Asmodee more money than Armada did, for the reasons that we stated, from when we're at these conventions and stuff. And this is, again, no insult to anybody who's ever played Armada, even if you love Armada. It's just as a numbers game right now. From our perspective, is that X-Wing and Legion are more popular. And one of the things that I know I voiced a concern early on when we moved over, and I wasn't the only one, is because X-Wing, Armada, and Legion were not babies of Atomic Mass Games, like they did not come from there. I think there will always be a preference for Marvel Crisis Protocol. Like that is AMG's thing, right? Like that is they built it from the ground up, and I'm sure they're very proud of that game. I think I stop worrying the first product I see with an AMG logo on it that's new, because that tells me that they've put in the work for X-Wing or Legion. I'm gonna back it up a little bit, but this is something that always comes to mind. If you guys remember the stream that AMG did a couple of months ago, where they they tried to show off the squid and they played a game of X-Wing, and these were game developers getting basic rules of X-Wing completely wrong. So if putting Armada to the side is going to give those developers more time to learn,
I did not see that.
Yeah,
But
the basic stuff. If putting Armada aside is going to give them more time to focus on X-Wing, then great. But you know, I want a reason. I am waiting for a reason to give. I want Atomic Mass Games to find a win, is what I'm looking for. Because right now, what I've seen is a lot of lip service. Just to be completely honest, there's a lot of lip service. Somebody sent me a clip saying that, you know, AMG saying like, oh, our employees are they're looking into the game, and what was it? It was during the Y-wing repaint that they're looking into the game systems, that everybody's learning the game systems, and I'm glad, and I want to see that. I would love to see them play X-Wing on a stream again and show us, hey, we know how to play X-Wing now, even if they're not good. But I want to see them. I want to see them play. Go ahead.
You know, something that, and maybe it happens, and I'm just not aware. But now this will be a little bit critical, but it may be because I don't know enough. But you know, whatever my job is, you know, I do marketing, and I've done product development and all that, right? I learn the product, and if there's an event, I go to the event, and if there's something to learn, I learn it. And if it was a game, I would imagine if I was tasked with either designing or marketing a game, I would kind of dive in and learn the material. And one of the best ways to do that is not by, I mean, yeah, you can go look at the forums and all that, but one of the best ways to do that is just to try it. Like, I know they can't do it in person because there's not, you know, COVID, but I would like just jump on some of these leagues, go to, you know, one of the weekend tournaments that and that's the best way to learn. It's the best way to learn. You said it, is by playing it, just, and not playing it against each other, because that's kind of a weird little, you know, like if one person gets it wrong, then the other person gets it wrong. It's just play it at a competitive level, and then play it at a casual level. Play, you know, go on, you know, if you know, go on our channel, on our Discord channel, go on one of the other Discord channels on the LFG, on the Looking for group. Find people to play and do one tournament. Yes, it's, you know, just, you know, yes, you're going to spend 8 hours on a computer, but you're going to learn something. You're going to learn, you know, how people play. You're going to learn how people, like, how seriously some people take it. You're going to learn some of the interactions. You're definitely going to learn on a, you know, like what's a legal action, what's not a legal action, much faster than you will reading the manual. I mean, reading the manual, reading forums, listening to comments will only get you so far, you know? So I would love to see that. Just play the game, join some tournaments, lose a bunch, maybe win a couple, and that's the best way to learn.
Agreed. And I will make a public invitation to AMG. If they want all right, in teaching we call it professional development, okay? But like I will take the GSP team, we will fly to Washington, and we will teach you about X-Wing. All right? Like let's go. Like if you want the help, let us know. Doesn't need to be on the books. Nobody's got to know, but we're willing to help. And we'll even go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but you'll see Dion posting like, "Hey, I'm in the West Coast."
Yeah, let's go. So I'm just like I'm opening that up because like sometimes it's just if the invitation's out there, maybe somebody will let you know. But yeah, that's that. I mean, there's not really much. Go ahead.
I got one last thing. So
hit it.
This is the timing of this is interesting because they are having that minis Travis. I can't say it. I don't know why they
mini extravaganza.
Mini extravaganza. Which, I don't know. Anyways, That's on September 9th. It looks like second year they've done this, where they announced their products, I guess, kind of like their own little streaming convention. But what do you guys think? Why did they not announce it then? Is the idea that they don't want to talk any negative during the mini extravaganza?
I mean, imagine if you saw on the schedule a mini extravaganza and there was an Armada section. All those Armada players go on the stream and they're all hyped and ready for things, and all they get is this. That feel really bad. So may as well just rip the Band-Aid off with this before the mini extravaganza, before you post the schedule where there might not be any Armada, and then they post this afterward. That would also feel bad because then Armada players be like, "Where's our section? What's happening? I don't know what's going on." So
I think it's that
before, then there's no expectation of it in the mini extravaganza at all.
Okay.
And if there is an Armada section, then all of us got to go, what? Hey, you know what? Maybe I won't throw that out there. Never mind.
They could paint Armada stuff. They might do, because they've done painting sections in the mini extravaganza. So they might do a let's paint one of the new prequel ships.
There you go. So we'll see what ends up happening. I know it's there's when you see something like this, it does send up red flags, and we'll see what ends up happening. All we can do right now is sit back and wait. That's it. And when we have positive news, we'll let you know. But and I want to make sure to put one thing clear is, like, I am. It is possible to be worried, concerned, yet supportive. I hope that makes sense, right? It's like, you guys know that we love X-Wing, AMG. We got your back. We'll call you on anything you do, because that's what this relationship is, right? But we got your back, and we're gonna build up this game as long as they're doing it. So,
and we'll give you money.
And we will give you money. Let me give you money. Let's go.
Well, to get a product.
Well, yeah, in exchange.
Or to play a product. Because if you're going to a tournament,
yes.
So we'll give you money to play, whether it's buying the material or giving us a place to play. We will give you money. Mm-hmm. Let us give you money.
Let me give you money. That's right. I mean, because between Paint Wars and giveaways and my own collection, like, I need at least 10 copies of every ship. Come on, let's go. All right,
let's go to a more.
How many Adas were you actually able to get a hold of? Because that seems to me the most difficult ship to have.
I got a few.
You got, okay. I mean, yeah, I assume you have to, because of inventory for those giveaways, for the paints. Like, they're all designed for something. So, yeah.
Yep.
I trust me, I know some other people that are not on Podcast Waves that got a fair share of Adas because they wanted to repaint them all for the special characters. So.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I was just going to say I want to go to a more positive note. Like, we've been, like, critical. I want to go on a more positive note.
More positive note?
Like how United States is going to
You
beat everyone.
want to go from talking about this to trash talking.
Yeah.
Well,
he just wants to start being like Michael Jordan and get the dunks on.
Let's go. All right. Well, I will prep that. While I prep that, Will, what's happening this weekend?
Well, this weekend is the final stage for the XTC X-Wing Team Tournament happening Saturday morning and Sunday. 5 rounds on Saturday, 4 rounds on Sunday. Round robin between the top 10 teams from the group stage. USA is one of them. Me and Marcel are playing. I'm still flying Scum. Marcel still flying the Republic Aces. And it's going to be an early morning for us. It is geared on the European time zone. They announced a bunch of streamers covering the event. Dion, what teams did you get?
I
Do you
wasn't.
remember
I
off the top of
wasn't.
your head?
I wasn't prepared for this
Oh,
question.
you don't have the stream?
I have it
Schedule?
right. No, that's not the right
That's
thing.
okay. I was trying to
Yeah.
stop on my
So
own time.
while he's bringing the stream schedule up, essentially like William said, it will be 9 games from 10 teams, 5 on Saturday, 4 on Sunday, 2 matches from each round for each team will be played. So in other words, there's going to be a total of 2. Yeah. Is that how it works? Yeah, there's going to be a total of 90 games
90 games, yep.
streamed over the weekend. So there will be 50 games on Saturday and 40 games on Sunday. And these will be every team will be streamed twice per round. So every team will have two people playing on stream at any time. It's completely random. Dion has it up on the screen right now, and
It's easier to read. No,
I
sorry.
saw funny stuff there.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
So yeah. So you could see it here. They're having a player meeting at 8 p.m. Or sorry, at 8 UTC. You can use your calculators for that. What time are you guys?
3 a.m. for us.
3 a.m. Yeah.
And 1 a.m. for Kenny, who is in Kenneth Lyon. He's a sub, but he's probably got the most important job because he will, as a sub, he will be leading all of the pairings. So he has to have his game on because the pairings is 60% of the getting the right matchups is important. So he's going to be up at 1 a.m.
All right. Well, we'll be up. GSP will be up. And this is the schedule that they have out here. That first round, we will be covering a Switzerland versus France. Round 2, we'll be covering Italy versus Peru. Round 3, Singapore versus the United States. Round 4, Peru versus all Ireland. Round 5, Spain versus Singapore. That's day 1. And then starting again 3 a.m. Central Time the next day, we got Peru versus Germany, England versus Switzerland, the United States versus Spain, and then the final round, Germany versus France here on GSP. So we'll have plenty of games. We got giveaways and stuff happening. Should be a good time to hang out. Hopefully, I'm awake. We'll do the best that we can. But yeah, should be a good time. Should be a good time. So today, what we're gonna do with the time that we have left, and I wanna ask, Will and Marcel, we looked at a couple teams last week. What's another team you think we should be taking a look at when it comes to comparing their old lists to their new lists?
Which ones did we look at? We looked at Spain. I remember we saw Spain.
Yeah, we have Ireland and England.
Yep.
We saw Spain, Ireland, and England.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I would say teams to look at. I think one of them, just talking about the couple that we only changed the couple. So maybe talking about the ones that we changed. That would be one. Germany made a big change.
Well, let's start with Germany then. Let's start with Germany, and we'll end with the U.S. and we'll find somebody to be.
France is also a good one to talk about.
To be in the meat of that sandwich. All right, so let's go ahead and flip on over here. On the left side, what you'll see is the original lists, and on the right is the new list. We'll do plenty of more zooming in on both sides here so we can really get a good look. All right. So let's take a look here, starting with the Rebel Alliance. How do we start here, Ryan?
We start with no change.
No change.
Just, for the audible audience, Thomas Schulte running the Rebel Alliance, who's Ketch, running Wedge with Crackshot. Dion scrolled away from me. Wedge with Crackshot Afterburners and S-Foils, Han Solo Trickshot, Kane and Jarrus, and Jake with Crackshot Predator. Ketch has ran Wedge, Han, Jake a lot the past year. Not surprised they stuck to it, to what he's used to.
All right, looking at some of the other stuff here, Empire looks the same.
Yeah, the Empire, they're running the 6 Barons, so that didn't change, but their Scum List changed.
Their Scum List changed? It's IG, 88, B, and D.
Oh, maybe they didn't change.
No,
No.
Did they not change anything?
Teemo's still running IGs. Yeah, I do that.
The double IGs? Okay.
All right.
Man, maybe I was wrong. Maybe they
Yeah.
didn't change.
Resistance also the same. We're running
4 blues and C3P rows.
and
God.
here is where we
Marcel
have a
not doing
I
change.
was way
research?
off.
Like there's like almost
Well,
no
they weren't
change.
they weren't in my group, so it's not like I prepped for them.
Yeah, but you bagged on them a lot just for like how much they underperformed.
Germany did
I-
underperform. That is a
Did they?
fact. Yeah,
They went
they were
5
supposed
and
to-
5 and
They-
2, right?
Yeah,
They
they
were
went 5 and
supposed
2.
to-
Four and two, 4 and 2. They
barely
went 4 and
scraped
2.
by. Like, well, no, they didn't. So, like, I don't think they had a lot of competition
Oh yeah, they went
to
5 and 2.
take their spot, but they underperformed in general.
Yeah,
I
they
thought
won
were
every
one
game.
of the-
They barely won every round, like 4-3, 4-3, 4-3.
Yeah, that's not what I
All
was
right.
expecting from Germany. I am rooting them as like going undefeated, like a 30-win team, easy, but
Not today.
not today.
Well, we did have a change in their Galactic Republic list. Originally, they had Benect Link flying Plo Koon with CLT, Anakin in the A-2 with Sense, Marksmanship, Auto Blaster, R2A6, Stealth Device, and Obi-Wan Kenobi in the A-2 with Sense, Marksmanship, Auto Blasters, R7, A7, and Stealth Device at 197 points, and made a pretty big change here. What do we got, Ryan?
We have a different player, Ilias. Is that how you say that? I don't know if I could attempt the last name, but Ilias running
Economitis.
Anakin what?
Economitis?
Economitis.
Sounds Greek.
Anakin
But anyway.
in the 2 with Brilliant Evasion, Marksmanship, Auto Blaster, R7A7 Stealth Device, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 Blue Squadron Protectors, which are the V-19 Torrents, all with dedicated ion missiles and synchronized council for a 7-point bid for Anakin. I don't know if Ilias was the one who ran this in the past, but I have recall seeing this archetype in a GSP event make at least cut or very close to it. And I think this was very similar, if not the same thing, dedicated protecting Anakin along with Billy Vader. That Anakin is extremely hard to kill. Extremely hard to kill. And those ion missiles will just... I have 3 dice as long as I get a lock. And if you ion something, that just makes Anakin's life even easier.
Alrighty, and then as we continue looking here, their Separatist list, same deal, Zam, Django, and that's the only change there for Germany. Let's go take a peek at Singapore. I will tell you, Singapore is a list, is a team. I didn't get to stream them much during the regular rounds, but it is a team that I am curious about. So let's go take a look at what they are bringing here. So we start with their Rebel lists. Looks like we have the classic Rebels, Hera, Wedge, Garvin is what they have now. Originally, they had something different, though. Originally, they had Lorik instead of... Who's missing here?
2
Lorik
tubes.
instead of the tubes.
I actually been
Instead of
sliding
Wedge.
Lork.
Instead of Wedge in their newest list.
There you go. I like Lork with Hera. It's very funny to watch somebody shoot at Hera because she has a focus, and then now she has a focus evade. Or now she's got 2 evades and a focus because of Kyle or something like that. But I can see how the time on target and just overall offense was suffering.
Yeah, so decided to slot in wedge there. Let's take a look at. Oh, this is really different. What do we have here, Will? When we get to the Empire?
All right, so Xing Ren Lo was flying the infamous Captain Faroff Sloan Swarm with a 6 Sinar Specialist. Those are the aggressors with dorsal turrets. And then it has moved on from that Sloan Swarm to now be flying Colonel Jenden with just jamming beam, 5th Brother with homing missiles, 7th Sister with concussion missiles, and then the Hatchet Man, Major Vendor with fire control system, advanced proton torpedoes, diamond boron missiles, advanced slam, and the arsenal loadout. So Jenden's going to give you free locks, so you don't need passive on your 5th Brother or 7th Sister. Same thing with the Vendor. You can get your locks early, so that way you can be slamming into focuses. So you got that reroll, and then you could spend your focus to mod either your shot or your defense there with the diamond boron or the advanced proton torpedo. A little sad that there's no points for a lock for Jenden himself, but this is very much made to hunt probably like Django, Fett, and Zam. This is like to hunt down like a 2 or 3 ship build because you need the fewer targets you need to lock, the better.
This so XY mentioned in the chat that this was in response to me crying about Sloan all the time. So thank you, XY. I appreciate yes, Sloan should not exist in the game, or at least Sloan's ability should not exist in the game. So I appreciate you, and England can go eat a hot pepper or something for taking it. However, I will say this, XY. I think I see it as a downgrade.
Oh,
for a team event, I mean, Sloan is just it's a pairings nightmare. Like nobody wants to play Sloan. It's just a really bad matchup for a lot of teams. I'm not saying that it. Well, I am saying it. I already said it's a downgrade. I think it's a downgrade. That doesn't mean they're not going to win some games with this Empire list, but it's. I see it as a.
But I mean, at the same time, it's a team tournament. I mean, we were just talking about like, oh man, you'll never hit that 70-point Anakin with that stealth device and dedicated. That 5th Brother will.
take a crit.
Yeah,
take a hit crit.
Just take a hit. Actually, that Anakin might just take the 4 dice. Like,
you're right. Yep.
like you hope you get 4 results.
Oh, and look, and XY in the chat says this list will beat Team USA. And hey, maybe this was built to hunt you guys. You never know. You were the highest win percentage out of everybody. You know, so it's it is a good list. It is a good list. And when Vendor works, hits super hard.
I also don't like that Vendor doesn't have a proton torpedo. It makes that range 2 and 3 a little less scary with only 3 dice. So again, I'm not, I don't want to knock any list too hard because, with the way the pairings work, there's literally no bad list because you have the potential of lining up the right matchup for each list. So the pairings, that's why I said the pairings has so much to do with it. But this is an interesting choice.
All right, we'll move down now to their scum lists. We have a change here as well. Marcel?
All right, so on the scum list, they went from the oldest is the left, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so they went from actually they changed pilots as well. So they went from Dewey Chua flying Asajj, Palob, Captain Seavor, and a Black Sun Ace.
That's a Star Viper for any of our
Star
players
Viper,
out there.
No, that's not the Star Viper. That's the K Fighter. Correct.
Oh, the Kirax. Sorry, Black
Yeah.
Sun Enforcer. Is that the Star
it's
Viper?
the Black Sun Ace. It's the
Got it.
Kirax.
I was about to say a Star Viper. That's the I3 talent for 38 points.
That would be a little bit of a steal. So they went with Meng Ti Tang, and he's flying Lando, Asajj, Bosk, with kind of the same loadout that you see almost everywhere. There's, I think we said 5 out of the 10 teams took this combination, the Lando, Asajj, Bosk, with like one upgrade here or there differently. Like somebody put Unkar Plut on Bosk. Actually, they put Unkar Plut on Bosk. Some people opted to go with like, other toys instead. All in all, this is the most popular Scum list, and I think it's also, I think that's actually a good call. It's the most popular Scum list, and I think it's probably the most well-rounded Scum list, like take an all-comers list. So this was a good call, in my view.
It's hard to tell what it's really good against and what it could fail against, but it just like quadruple whatever multiplication downs on false transponder codes so much. But like you said, this list variation took Unkar on Bosk instead of false transponder on Lando, which normally I think we've seen just throw as many false transponder codes as possible to be as annoying as possible.
Yeah, but Lando hates lock-in though. He'd rather have the focus or a boost.
I mean, more false transponder codes means you're less likely to want to lock Lando.
That's true. I mean, now you're ready to just gun Lando down if you can. 11 health, shoot through it. He's not going to let you joust.
But he's
him,
also
though.
clearly the cheapest.
Yeah,
but
51
Jabba
points.
is empowering some of those extra charges as well. So if you get rid of Lando, you get rid of a lot of those resources.
I mean, Lando's a good 51 points. Like, if you're going to go against ships who stress themselves, interceptors, A-wings, anybody who's got a K-turn to keep shooting at a turret, he's surprisingly good for that 51. Even if he has a 6-point support crew member.
All right, so there is the Scum and Villainy squad. We'll keep turning here. As we get to the first order, we had a change as well. Same pilot, Garrett Chan, originally flew Hollow and 3 Sinar Jameis engineers. This is actually a first order list that I've flown quite a bit. I'm a big fan, but switching here to Major Von Reg with Daredevil, Kylo Ren with Extreme Maneuvers and Recoil. That's one of the other silencers with Predator. So opting for more speed. Let me correct that. For higher initiative, and keeping the speed with one less ship there. Also a noticeable drop in the bid, going from 199 to 196.
I think that's an upgrade.
I think so. In this competition, I think so as well, and bringing a pretty respectable bid as well. Then we get to the Resistance. I think this is the same. Yep, this is the same. Well, what did they have, Ryan?
We got the same pilot. Both have. Where's the difference? Well, baseline Bros Tico with C3PO. 1, 2, 3 reds, all with heroic foils and jamming beam. And then we have both lists had Jarek Yeager with Intimidation, but instead of opting for the 3-point bid, only opted for the 1-point bid in lieu of adding tracers onto Jarek Yeager. So the I-5 tracer missile from Jarek to get those extra mods for those red experts.
All right, and last but not least, we get to the Galactic Republic, and it is the same list that was there before. I don't think there's any changes here. How did they finish out, Will?
That's XY flying a 4-ship all I-5s. That's Obi-Wan and the Ada doing crit shenanigans with marksmanship, auto blaster, R7A7, Plo Koon with sense and calibrated laser targeting, pocket ace there. For the second ship, Rick Olay with R2 astromech for some weapons disabled healing. And then the oddest ship in here, Oddball,
Nice.
with marksmanship. Yeah, I tried. Marksmanship and proton rockets. So this is an adorable salad with all I-5 pilots. I think that's pretty interesting. I wonder how many proton rockets Oddball ever shot, but
I would imagine a lot.
I mean,
Because
roll up
Plo
on
Koon
stuff,
is
right?
yeah, he can barrel roll, evade, and then Plo Koon will toss over a focus and be like, "Oops, now you've got a target lock, evade, and focus."
Yeah, I mean, I guess Plo Koon is the support ship in this. Very interesting. Going out there getting blocks, using sense.
Very cool. And the last list here for the Singapore's Separatists, they originally brought 5 Petranakis. If I've 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes, 5 Petranaki aces with crackshot. Those are the initiative for Nantext, and decided instead to go from one evil to the other, flipping to Zam with Django at 194 points, bringing a pretty classic version of it as well. So all around here, real quick voting. Do you think Singapore's lists got better? Thumbs up for better? Even for the same? Thumbs down for worse?
That's better for me.
Everyone did a thumbs up for the Audible audience.
Yeah, I think they are better. I think they are better. For sure. So we'll have to see. And now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll end by taking a look at the United States lists. Now, did they just put you guys in as USA? They did. All right. So we'll take a look here at the USA.
Those Americans can't even spell all 3 words. You just give them the letters.
The American way, shorten it.
Love it. All right, here we go. USA. Oops, where's the beginning of this? I don't think they gave you guys a title to start with. They did not. Oh, they actually spelled it out here. United States of America.
So they got corrected. That's for sure.
All righty. So you know what? I'm gonna have you guys lead this. Will, take the wheel.
All right. First off, we got Matt Carey on the Midwest Scrubs, representing Missouri. He decided with no change to his list here, which was Hera Prockets, Ahsoka, Instinctive Aim, Prockets, Janors, Jen Urso, Engine Upgrade, Moldy Crow, and Wedge in the A-Wing for a 198. He really likes it kind of creates like a pseudo alpha, doesn't it, Marcel? Where if you can go proton rocket, range 1, focus, lock from Jan, and then a wedge juiced up shot. Like you could take down a ship and a half easy if you just get all those on target or a target.
Yeah, for being 3 A-Wings, they can put out some good hurt early.
Yep, so it's been working for him. He likes it, kept with it. What about Steve here, Marcel?
So Steve did make a change. So he stayed with the Goran Strikers. He was flying Goran Strikers with 2 of the Strikers had thermal detonators and 2 with proximity mines. And he changed to actually this list is wrong. There's a newer one. Oh, actually, no, this one is right. So he changed to 2 thermal detonators, a proxy mine, and a counter net, which essentially takes his bid down from 198 to 195. Again, we felt that there's a lot of Initiative 3 out there, and having a stronger bid. A lot of the other people are flying, for example, 4 Delta 7s at 196. And that 1 point bid makes that match a bad matchup into a really good matchup, for example.
Why do disciplined strikers want the bid? The option
They want
for the bid.
Well, they want to move second and shoot second for multiple reasons. One of them is because they can ace, because they can double reposition essentially, or triple reposition boost. No, double, yeah. So they can ace, and 2, they want to shoot second when they bump up against the same initiative, because if the other ships kill one, they don't care as much about bumping because of Gorin, and if one of your ships dies, then you can reposition, maybe get somebody out of an arc so they doesn't get shot, or you can get a bunch of target locks early so that your return fire is a lot harder. So the Gorin strikers, or disciplined in general, just really cares about bid. Not just in this list, I think in any list.
Makes sense. All right, that's back to me. I'm flying Scum. I got Kanan Jarrus, Protectorate Gleb, Moldy Crow. I had Fenrir with Composure, then Bosk with Jammin' Beam, Gamut Key, Zam Wessel, and Greedo. And now the training wheels are off. 199, drop that Composure. Let's go. I don't know.
Should throw away the extra waste that is jamming beam too.
No, I'll shoot that jamming beam.
I don't believe you.
One day.
Actually, I don't even know. I'll tell you this. I don't even know the interaction of if I can split that crit from jamming beam. Do they get extra jams then?
Does Bosk say prime? No, Bosk isn't primary only.
I think Bosk is primary only. Yeah, we're also going to be shooting pulse missiles.
I know he wasn't for.
No, it doesn't work.
For first edition, yeah, it's primary, Bosk primary. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, might be a Tavson. Actually, I don't think there's a Tavson in the tournament, is there? There's like one Echo who I would definitely jam.
And I brought it for
William,
you.
I spelled your name wrong, I guess.
Sure did. Oh,
Hey.
One extra H.
Hiya.
Also carry with an extra E.
Oh, was that the joke before? I missed it. But someone was asking, who's Matt Carey? I was like, what? Anyways, moving on from misspelling some names, whatever, people on the internet.
I was really surprised to see this change here
So this was
from
changed.
Doug.
Yeah, we had a lot of discussion about this one, actually.
Yeah, we had a lot of discussion, and this was Doug
Doug had a lot of discussion about it. We discussed it behind his back, but then trusted him.
Well, he also had a lot of public discussion about it. He had like 5 different versions of a 180 something to 190 something bid. He had everything from a 194 bid, Kylo, and then he had prime thrusters on Blackout, and this is ultimately what we settled on. It was kind of and essentially what he did, he dropped, for those that are listening, he had Kylo Supernatural with prime thrusters and proton torpedoes, and Major Von Reg Lone Wolf afterburners. He dropped Major Von Reg in favor of Blackout with Lone Wolf. Takes his bid from 188 to 189, but ultimately, we noticed that in pairings, we really weren't trying to pair him against I6s anyway, because Von Reg is not a good I6 hunter, and Kylo is your list. So if we're going to be trying to go for not I6s, might as well throw a 6 health ship that can double reposition every single turn. And it's just a little bit, hits harder, and just felt a little better. Blackout with Lone Wolf, I think, survives better moving less than Von Reg. Just comes down to that.
All right. We will see.
Why were you surprised?
Well, I was just surprised. Okay, because I got to see Doug play a couple of times, and that was some of the best Von Reg play I have ever seen. Because one of the problems with Von Reg is there's not a lot of people who fly it well, and he can get caught easily. And yes, when he did play, if a ship was getting caught, it was Von Reg. But I don't know, like giving up that I-6 makes me nervous, but I do agree that the list is Kylo. So maybe I'm going to go back to when we were doing our predictions for each round. In Doug, I trust, and we're just going to kind of leave it at that and let Doug take the wheel. Because if he wants Blackout in there, Blackout is a silencer. It has more health, which makes it a little bit more survivable. And maybe he could be a little more risky with Blackout than he was with Von Reg, and maybe get away with a little bit more. All right. We head to the Resistance.
No change. Carson's ready to keep Lulo carrying the team.
Yeah, Lulu for life.
Lulo for life. So that was Poe, Rose, Jess Pava, and Lulo Lampar. Then we get to the Republic. You still flying this thing, Marcel? The same thing?
Is it really the same thing?
But
Yeah.
Marcel,
It's not.
like 2 weeks ago, was like, I'm
Oh,
seriously gonna find
no,
that
no,
list.
it's not. No, it's not.
There is a different Obi-Wan there.
That is a different
better
Obi-Wan.
Yeah, so it's still the same. It's the same Rick Olay. It's the same Anakin Skywalker. So it's Rick with Advanced Sensors Regen, Daredevil. It's Anakin with Intimidation Collision, R2, and Advanced Proton Torpedoes. But the ETA Obi went from a very expensive Sense Predator Tractor Beam Regen and Shield to the more conventional Sense Marksman Auto Blaster R7 and Stealth Device instead of Shield.
Look at you. You can do damage
takes me
now.
down from, not only that, it took me down from 200 points to 191. And ultimately, I found that even the games that I won is just all the I5s and Sense can only get you so far. It's just so much easier when you're moving last, and let Sense just be there for the I6s or for the system phase repositioning as it should be. So
Yeah,
it
you
feels
look
a
at this
lot.
and you go-
I
you
feel.
go, oh look, a gigantic bid. Cool.
Yeah, and it also gives other people, when they're looking at Doug at 189 and they're planning really hard to like, okay, who do we not want to face at I5 acing? It gives like a little support to Doug, like a little bit of cushion.
All right. And then last but not least, we hit the Separatists, and we did have a change here as well. Take a look at this, Ryan.
All right, so Daniel Leone originally had ran the ZAM and 5 Trade Federation drones and opted for a 4 HEMPs, just getting rid of the ZAM completely, using DGS 047 with cluster missiles, ZAM crew, thermal detonators or repulsive stabilizers. And then let me make sure 3 Separatist Predators, the I-3 generic HMPs, all with cluster missiles and ion missiles, one of them with Dark One probe droids and one of them with Kraken. So going with the 4 HMPs, just a variant not commonly used. Most people don't opt into the I-3 generics just to get the I-3. They go cheaper to be able to afford more fancy toys and tools.
Yeah, so I will say I was, and I know Daniel's listening live. Daniel, I love you, but I really liked the old list. Not because I like ZAM, but there was a, how do I say, there was a je ne sais quoi about the vultures, you know? It was just, they did so much work, and when I watched those games, it was super entertaining. But I also know that 4 HMPs is really good, so I will have faith.
I will say
Alrighty.
it was definitely interesting whenever we went through the pairing process and got to this list, and it commonly ended up going against opposing swarms. But because he had the option in most cases to choose who moved first or second,
Yep.
he was able to take advantage of that and still let Zam take care of all the heavy hitting and end gaming.
It's true. It's true. So, Ryan, I have to ask a at least slightly more objective party. What do you think of the changes of Team USA lists?
So, as a refresher, we had this Separatist change. We had Doug Howe opting into Blackout instead of Von Reg. That and a Connornet instead of a Proxmine for the Empire list. And
me
Marcel opting
losing
in for
regen.
the losing regen on Obi for crit Obi. Is that it?
Yes.
I would say Marcel's is a small positive, just because you gain the guaranteed bid, still have sense if you need it. That R2D2 is really good actually as a regen droid, but I see the reasoning. So I think it's still a slight net positive because the bid helps, and we've seen the crit effect Ada's really effective. Connornet to proxy, I think that's even. Like, it's hard to quantify that.
That's a bit. It's a bit change, is what it is.
That is true. You are gaining a higher bid for your discipline, so that is a small net positive because it wasn't a drastic bid, but it was still a bid nonetheless. 5 points against other I3s. Most other I3s are not bidding more than 3 in most cases. So yeah, that's a positive. And then I trust in Doug to fly the Kylo. I think it's even. You can go either way. It sounds like you guys had enough discussion that it could have gone either way. Just opted into Blackout instead. So I think that's even, yet to be determined. I trust Doug. And then
the real question, though, no composure on Fenrau. What are we gonna do?
I believe in Will's eyes now, I guess.
Well, you didn't say on Daniel's.
I was about
Daniel was our biggest change,
the biggest one, right? So
because we just had adjustments on the other ones.
If I recall, Daniel has been a long time user of 4HMPs, correct?
Yeah, he was like one of the OG. So when they came out, he switched from the Nantex and all the other goofy CIS stuff to him.
Yeah, so like I believe in the player's ability to use the list. I'm not exactly high on the type of HMP version that it is. I'm curious, but I'm not convinced right now. I think it was if you take the list out of the player's hands and put both lists into two players that are the exact same quality, I think I still like the Zam and Vultures more. So I think that list is a downgrade if you're just comparing the lists, and then there's just a little bit of a nudge up because it's Daniel flying the HMPs who's very familiar with them. I just don't know if that's enough for me to say it's a positive.
All right. Well, hopefully you guys enjoy those breakdowns. We will find out this weekend who will be the overall winner of the XTC. It should be fun. No matter what happens, it should be fun. I'm ready to have a good time. Of course, you know that we're going to be rooting for Team USA, but International X-Wing, fun stuff. Final thoughts, Will and Marcel, before we end with something completely different.
My final thoughts for this weekend is it is not going to be easy. I think every team is going to have their challenges. I don't think that there's going to be, normally there's a team or player in a tournament who just goes undefeated, just beats everybody, no problem. Just had the best list, right? Mm-hmm. But it just doesn't work like that in team tournaments. And I think with, what did we say? 90 something games.
Yep.
Almost 90 games. Is that really? I don't know. The math is hard on that.
90 games streamed.
90 games streamed. That I feel like there's 90 games total, but okay.
No, there's 90 games streamed. There's there's 490 games played.
What?
No, wait, 7 times 9. What's 7 times? Yeah, what's 7 times 9? 7 times 9 is
63.
63.
Oh yeah.
So 63 games. Hold on, where's the math?
Well,
7
half of
times
that.
9.
Times it by 10 and then half it.
Yeah, 7 times 9. That's how many?
63.
That's
times
63.
10,
That's 63 games.
630.
Yeah, that's
315 games played.
Yeah, so that's 7
That's a lot
times
of
9. Yeah, I don't know. It's a
Get
bunch of
over
games.
it.
More than 300.
315
and something.
total games, 90 streamed. All right, now we're on the same
Somebody in
page.
chat with a calculator.
Anyways, like I said, it's going to be tough. And I like maybe a team will just sweep everybody. That would be great. Or it wouldn't be great. It would be interesting. It'd be great if it was us. But I just don't see that happen. I think that there's going to be a lot of like 4-3 matches decided between the teams, and I have a sinking suspicion that the undefeated team is going to be very tough to achieve. To beat all 9 other teams be intense, but I think USA will do well. We'll come away respectable. I think we can get some match wins. I think we'd easily get. What are we playing? Oh, yeah,
What do you
more
mean?
math. We're playing 70 games as a team.
No,
we're playing 63 games as a team.
63 games. Yeah.
I think we could easily go over 50% on that. I think we'll win at least half of our games, no problem.
Yeah, I think it's all smack talking aside. I think it's at this stage it's near impossible to say like who the winner is or anything like that, because it's everything is going to be so close. With that, I believe that we're probably going to be at a 6-3 winner, maybe a 7-2. But I believe that the first 3 or 4 teams will be separated by how many individual wins they win, but they'll be tied at how many team rounds. Like there will be like 3 or 4 teams at 6-3, and then it's the individual either head-to-heads or the individual rounds that'll take them apart. So when we win a round, we're gonna have to win it big whenever possible. So it's like pedal to the metal on every match, even if even if we won 5, we got to get those last 2. So it'll be tough. It's if anything, it'll be entertaining for the people watching, and it's gonna be stressful for the people playing. It's probably the way I'm gonna.
Hey, I mean, only 5 games. That's not so bad. I'm used to 6, so we'll get out early. Second day is only. But
Only 4 games.
If it was
Only 4 games that start at 3 a.m. No big.
That's just like a top 16, man. That's like 5 rounds of Swiss in the top 16. That's no problem.
Easy. Well, I'm looking forward to see what happens. Again, we will be live all this weekend. There will be 9 other channels streaming, so if we, end a game early, feel free, open there. Of course, I mean, I'm not going to be biased. I want you to watch here so that we can hang out together.
Gold Squadron will have the best content.
I didn't say that.
I'm saying that. I'm going to be playing, and I'm saying watch Gold Squadron. Gold Squadron will have the best content. And then, but you can also do like, what is it, like Sunday, like the football where...
Wait, end
Yeah.
zone? Red zone.
Red zone,
zone.
Yeah. Just
Start pulling out multi-streams.
Yeah, just have 10 tabs on your window open and support all 10 channels. But pay
There you
attention
go.
to the Gold Squadron one. But support all 10 channels.
Start dig out those extra monitors. Start setting them up.
Start now. Get the CRTs out the basement. It's time.
Right?
You got monitors, you got phones, you got tablets, you got your TV.
Oh yeah,
You figure it out.
You can get all 10 teams.
Grandma, give me your phone. All right, everybody. Before we go, I saw it in the chat earlier, and I think I'm a fan of Marvel. I know y'all are a fan of Marvel. I saw that there was a new Spider-Man trailer, and I kind of want to watch it.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it as soon as we log out.
I've seen a little bit of it.
I've seen.
Are you saying you want to watch it live?
I want to watch it with you guys and then talk about it.
I'll watch it. I haven't seen it.
Oh, well,
yeah.
all right,
Yeah,
hold on. I'm gonna
down.
mute myself and mute hearing anyone. So
Oh,
sorry, audience. This might be the most quietest 3 minutes.
Well, here's the link in the chat, everybody. We're all just gonna watch it on our own. Everybody watch it on your own.
I'm going to the official Marvel Entertainment.
Yes.
I don't want no news or trailer
Same.
website.
So I posted the Sony Pictures one. That's isn't
work
Okay,
to
that
do,
worked.
yeah.
that's the one that I posted.
All right, are we
so
watching?
Quiet. I'm watching.
I'm watching it in 3, 2, 1.
What? No. Where's Jerry Maguire?
No, they're gonna show those reveals. You get one reveal. Was that
That was Dr. Octopus.
From
So
the
I caught two things. That one of them was the black suit he was wearing.
Yeah, for
the
a
black-
couple
and
frames.
that one. Yeah, that harkens back to the third one where he had the Venom suit.
Right. Yeah. When it was, I don't know, he was running maskless through what looked like a school cafeteria, maybe something like that, a cafe.
Yep.
But I noticed he had all black on that. Very interesting. And then was that William Dafoe's voice in that?
That was the
after
cackling after the little Green Goblin bomb exploded.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that one.
I thought it was
William-
Alpha Merlina. But now, yeah, no, I'm thinking that was more.
I just want Morales. Do you think we'll get Morales?
I
don't
doubt it.
know.
One, man, unless this is like the finale for Tom Holland, then they could pass the torch. But it's so early to cast that. You know what I mean? They would
So-
have to have a whole movie in production before they would drop that. Maybe
Funny
a
thing is,
name, but
so we saw those hints, and clearly the reveal of the same Doc Ock we saw in the second Spider-Man original movie. They're holding out on what everyone wants, which is the Spider-Verse, which is all the actors from the other old Spider-Mans culminating in this one, since it's the multiverse. So it's a hint. They're not directly saying that in this movie, but it's they're holding out for you to see it in theaters, to actually get that big uproaring applause. Those
I think we'll
Marvel
see
moments.
one. I think we'll see one of those in a trailer to hype it up. It would be.
no, I think that's the
Keep them all out.
That's the third act where they gotta rally. From the if the second act low is all the villains coming back, that's the third act. Is you gotta rally all of the Spider-Man to fight the end fight.
It'll be great. This is actually just the first 5 minutes of the movie, guys. There's
I mean, they could go really
they've
fast,
done
they
that, yeah.
should. I don't know what was up with that train. That scene's very interesting to me. Where
Well-
they're riding the train through the canyon.
yeah.
Well,
That
if you
reminds me
remember,
of-
one of the very big scenes in Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock was the train fight.
Yep.
The train fight, sure, yeah.
So add a little multiverse spin and some Doc Ock,
what suit was he wearing
some
in-
Doctor Strange magicry.
I know. I think he had to track the scenes by what suit he's wearing, because sometimes he was wearing red and blue, or the red and black, like here.
Yeah, right there, that last one.
Right. Then he was wearing the Iron Spider suit when
Yeah.
he was on the bridge looking, what looked like he was looking at Melina. Doc Ock, Alfred.
Yeah.
Molina. Then they had the black suit when he was running through the cafe or whatever.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for right now.
I think you had just passed it. I think once he's conjuring this, I don't know.
So that opening looks like, because in I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in the end of Spider-Man 2, right? They're talking, and you see
That is
the-
they're
the-
web slinging around. And
Yep.
you see J. Jonah Jameson come on the TV, and that was the suit he was wearing in that scene. I don't know if Zendaya's wearing the same clothes, MJ, but I would assume that might be the continuation. They might hunt him down for being, kind of a perceivable bad guy.
I'm
What is
curious.
it with this winter?
Yeah.
He's got
Why is
the
everything
winter
frozen?
suit. He's got like a down version of his gear. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, when Wong walks through the portal, he's also wearing a bunch of. I don't
Clearly,
know.
they've
Yeah,
done
that's- I mean, that's
something in the cold recently.
They
That's a
did cast
sweatshirt.
a bad spell or something and froze the whole sanctum.
I think it's that because like Doctor Strange with if you think about when he was like a surgeon, he was like the best, and he would just kind of he's always tinkering, trying to find other things. I could see this being something that goes wrong for sure.
Yeah, that spell is well,
Right here,
I'm-
there it is.
Yeah, I mean, actually, can you rewind back to Doctor Strange for a second? Yeah, that's the suit I was talking about, though. That's a weird suit for him to be in.
You know
'Cause
what
that's not,
this reminds
that's
me?
not Night Monkey. That is a black Spider-Man. Or black suit Spider-Man. This is more like a homeless shelter.
This is no. It looks like is it? Yeah. It's, I was thinking it's yeah.
Oh, he does rip off his mask. Interesting.
Wonder if it's like a weird dream
Is this
or
a s-
something.
Is that the same one that he has in
That's not
when
that's
he's in
not
Europe?
Night Monkey. No, because that was like cotton and stuff. It didn't have any Spider-Man designs on it or anything like that.
True
But
that.
if you go back, you see that Stephen Strange is missing his iconic Eye of Agamotto, the Time Stone. So I'm sure he's, to your point, I mean, he's got to be experimenting with spells to get himself back up to that power level.
Yeah, I mean, after all the Infinity War and Endgame, he doesn't have that anymore.
Well, the
This-
important question is, will there be disco dancing on this one?
Man, if he doesn't dance, do the street dancing, major
I mean,
misstep.
we saw how popular
oh, man, if-
Zemo dancing was. I mean,
What is it?
So-
This is. Do you see this Spider-Man? This is what this reminds me of right here. There was an episode in the animated series where Peter Parker, it's just like a Spider-Verse episode, and this is one of the Spider-Men that showed up.
Yeah, it's like the Tony Stark style Iron Spider, but more iron than Spider, I guess.
Yeah.
I just want to confirm, do we see a transition of Tom Holland's character putting on the Iron Spider suit in that scene on the bridge?
I thought on the bridge.
Yeah, like one of the
Towards
last
the
shots of it. See, there it does have the Eye of Agamotto, but there's no stone in it. Very.
Oh yeah,
strange.
I think he just doesn't have the stone.
That's weird. That he has the
Okay,
necklace.
so he's there in the shot there, but do we see him? Does the suit actually go on him as we move forward?
Yeah, when he's standing on top of the car.
Yeah, he was in a slightly different shot of like a few seconds later, I think. Yeah, there's the bomb explosion. He's there.
He's wearing
there.
fancy clothes.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure because I'm like, if they didn't show him putting on that suit, who says that would have been Tom Holland in the Iron Spider suit? But we saw it, so we're good.
Now you're getting the tinfoil
That
hat
was
on.
like,
Be
I
like, if
wonder
Spider-Man's
if
wearing the
different-
mask, he's
Well,
not.
because in
Tom
that scene
Holland.
it was all like Iron Spider and then Doc Ock showing up, and I was like, what if one of the other older Spider-Man actors was in the Iron Spider suit? But no, not in that one. We actually saw Tom Holland's character had it materialize around him.
I think so. Looking at kind of like order of movie, I think that this scene, what I was assuming is connected to where he's putting on, he has a suit on, is like a court date, right? Because if he's being held responsible for the murder of Mysterio, why else is Tom Holland going to be wearing a suit?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a good point.
Interesting. So for those of you who haven't seen the trailer, watch it. I guess we should have warned you to go watch it before we did this little audio
there's
segment. But
3 minutes of silence. Like
yeah.
you watched it.
So yeah, I'm excited though. I mean, I'm a big fan of Marvel
Were
movies.
those 3 minutes of silence for Armada?
Oh,
Ooh, too soon.
there's somebody out there going, no, too soon.
Man, if Peter Parker knew about, if you guys recall in the Captain Marvel movie, those alien creatures called the Skrull that could change their appearance. If only Peter Parker knew about that and went to
Nick Fury or Talos.
Went to Nick Fury, be like, "Hey, Nick Fury, can we borrow one of those Skrulls, turn into Peter Parker, and just show Peter Parker standing next to Spider-Man? Just be like, hey, no, not true, not the same person."
Right.
Apparently, he had to go to Doctor Strange and change all of their current timeline.
Yeah, Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Like him changing the timeline. Like what is?
Dion, you really got to center this video if you're gonna keep playing it.
I'm sorry. It's centered on mine.
I know, but you still got William Dafoe just staring me down over there. But anyways, yeah, Doctor Strange. I mean, he seems particularly out of character compared to his role in like Infinity War, and especially Infinity War. There wasn't a lot of them in Endgame, but like for someone who I guess maybe he is the pretty rebellious person who is like always looking for the crazier and crazier magic.
Yep.
He's always been very ambitious. So like him trying to do big things is more of a challenge for him and not a like taboo.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I mean, this is probably the first time he had a real reason to cast this time-altering spell. There's not really time. It's very... What does it exactly do? It makes everybody...
Is it a memory spell?
It's something universe affecting, because he said like the consequence of Peter messing around in the middle of that spell was, oh, something multiverse just happened. Big problem.
So that goes into deeper theories, I guess.
This is releasing before Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, right?
Yeah. Multiverse of Madness is March or April, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So this is probably what the Spider-Man events likely link to it.
Yeah, that and Loki and all of it, just Wanda, Loki, this, like all of it just kind of...
there's a bunch of stuff that will culminate in that one. I think Multiverse of Madness might be a pretty big step in this multiverse series.
I think it's... Do you think it's going to be like the Civil War of this phase, where it's going to have the most like cameos?
It might be a bit early, maybe. I mean, it is like we have no idea what the next Avengers film is, because we're only getting the characters films that have other characters in them. Like it's centered around Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Like this is centered around Spider-Man with other people influence, which is realistically probably a more logical way to move forward with the next phases, because all these heroes came together just recently to take care of Thanos. So like, why wouldn't there be other characters helping out the other focal point heroes in their own movies? There's always the funny like memes out there, pictures where there's like crazy big bad guy trying to do something to the entire world, and then this one person from their movie is helping out, and everyone else is just sitting there drinking coffee, just like watching TV. They're all superheroes that could be helping them.
Oh, you're talking about the Eternals?
No, maybe.
They weren't allowed to interfere. They opened the trailers with that. We weren't allowed to interfere with the humans.
Why not?
Yeah,
because Mickey Mouse said so.
All right. Well, that was
for.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Wrap it. Oh.
No.
I mean, we're just talking about, like I said, the rabbit hole that is like these movies and what it can ultimately end. But it depends on if they're keeping the spoilers for Loki, the Loki big bad, in Loki, or if that's gonna cross over to the actual series.
So I'm actually curious.
There has been an announced. There's an already announced movie that is confirmed. What happened in Loki will also have that in the other movie. I'm not going to say the movie. I'm not going to say what it is from Loki. If you want to look it up, go for it. If you want to be surprised, enjoy it when it happens.
I think I'm just curious. I want to do it too early to call prediction from you guys. Like, who will be that pinnacle baddie that will be like what brings the Avengers together to close this phase out?
Oh, I already. Like, it's obvious, and it's like.
You think it's Kang?
Yeah, it's got to be Kang.
I don't think
the
it's
Conqueror.
Kang. I don't think it'll be him.
It's 100%.
Because you do Kang this phase, and then you could get Galactus.
Yeah, you go up, but once you get to Galactus, the question is like, all right, what are we doing now?
you got to scale it back down again. Then you got to go back to Hell's Kitchen.
I actually think it might actually be. You see, I'm going to go a little bit further. I think Kang is going to be the catalyst, but I think Doom is going to kind of supersede that title of like who's the biggest baddie. And I do agree that like the Celestials and the Galactus type will probably be saved for later, because once you hit that level, like, what are you gonna do?
So
throw another human on there?
I think there is a comic string of stories and a series that deals with Doctor Doom becoming very powerful, either bad or good. It's in I think it's called the Secret Wars.
Secret Wars. Mm-hmm.
Will, you might be able to clarify then if Doctor Doom was. I thought he was actually part good or helpful for a bit, and then maybe went bad. I don't know.
He basically collides the multiverse, and then through ridiculous stuff, Doctor Doom magic.
Of course,
he gets everybody to fight different. He basically pits the realities against each other, so that they have to fight each other, so their reality survives. Which, like, of course, that's how a comic book. Just everybody punch each other. That's how we'll solve our problems. I mean, that's very possible. Like, if they're trying to world build with like the What If series and these different things, Sam Raimi universe, if they're trying to build this not just MCU verse, but like all of Marvel verse, and then they want a reason to put that, or like a way to put them all into one thing, you could do Secret Wars.
But earlier this week, again, this is not a spoiler because it already happened at a convention. The writer for Secret Wars already basically said, Marvel MCU Studios already reached out to me to get the rights for like all this and just make sure that all the Secret Wars stuff.
I mean,
I assume they want to pull from potentially everything.
Oh yeah, I mean, why not? That's just money. That's a money printer. Let's just keep making cool stuff.
Thing. I think Doom will do it, because even in some of the comics, Doom actually partnered with Kang and actually like.
Ooh man, I don't know.
Took Kang out.
I really tried to like the new Fantastic Four, and it was so bad. Like they really got to make sure
they got to redo it again.
They got to make sure that's so good.
Oh yeah.
They have to.
It is funny to go on Disney Plus and they have like the MCU section, and as you scroll down, and I forget what the title of it is, but it's like they include the old X-Men movies and the Fantastic Four in this line of like other Marvel stuff. Like it's very clearly not the MCU. It's pretty great, but yeah, I do agree. They got to do something. They got to do something with the Fantastic Four, because like they're so iconic in comic books, and there's been three attempts to launch the Fantastic Four, and all of them have failed.
Yeah, but you got to MCU has like a good
It has a good record,
handle.
but how are
Yeah.
you? What we haven't seen? Let me make sure. Let me double. So they've built these individual hero movies with like casts around them, and the success has been bringing them together in things like the Avengers and stuff like that. The Fantastic Four flops because you have 4 main characters, and the movie has failed to build up and have you really care about all 4 characters, plus some of the weird decisions that they make along the way. I think it's the problem is that it's a cast of 4, and I'm curious. For instance, like with the Eternals, they have this
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, and that's an example, but it took like they did a great job of building, but really they started with Quell, right? Like
Eternal.
Well, you have to center it around a person, and then from that person you get the supporting cast. So Quill, Star-Lord was the main character,
right?
And then the other characters were
But
support,
who's the main character in Fantastic Four then?
Reed Richards.
Yeah, it's Reed Richards, of course.
Reed Richards every time. Yeah.
I mean, I am actually, where you bring up Eternals, I'm actually really worried about that movie because for that exact reason of like 12 characters, like I can't even name them all of who's supposed to be in charge of that movie. So
It's the wannabe Superman. It's Salma Hayek. It's
Not even her hero name, just Salma Hayek.
Well, and then you go through like Rob Stark, Jon Snow.
yeah.
The
So,
actors, or the characters from Game of Thrones, the actors are in it.
yeah.
I think what might happen at the end of Eternals is we're going to find out which one of them actually matter, because I feel like a few of them are going to bite the dust during the movie.
Probably.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And then
we might never see those Eternals again, though. That might be a real, actual one-off movie.
And I think one of my other questions is, of course, we have Shang-Chi coming out in the month and a half. Something of that sort.
It's September 3rd, I thought. So
it's the 3rd?
Weeks. I thought
right.
so.
So this is around
like 2 weeks.
around the corner, and this is a character I know I'm not familiar with him, but I mean they're doing a standalone movie and he's part of the MCU. So I'm curious to see how is he going to fit in this next phase.
The bad guy has been. So the bad guy in this is more familiar.
I was going to say
with.
be careful, because that could be a spoiler for people.
Yeah, I'm just saying the bad guy in this is I'm familiar with more than Shang-Chi himself.
So we'll find out.
Potentially, if because they have not specifically said who he is, but I've heard rumors of who the bad guy is supposed to be. But
And it's not a failed actor.
So Dion, similar to you, I don't know a lot about the actual hero himself, but I'm going into this without prior research into anything. I just want them to tell me the story.
Yeah, exactly.
If it catches my interest enough, I will look at it further and see in comic, it's Wikipedia, things like that, to explain like, oh, that's that, this, blah blah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some there. I'm hoping that for people who are like fans and have like they're familiar with the character, that there is some of that sparkle. Like when we watch Star Wars movies, we see those things in the background where we're like, oh, that's this, that's that. I'm sure there's going to be some of that, but yeah, definitely. I'm going in without any research. Me and the missus have a date night planned, and we just go. We just go and find out, and we'll report back. But yeah, there's been our little Marvel MCU
Let's
cast.
call it our Crisis Protocol segment.
Research. We're researching for that game, right? It all loops back to AMG.
Right. The last thing I want to talk about with the Spider-Man trailer, though, is this picture right here. All right? Look at these colors. Those look like Infinity Stone colors.
Oh man!
I mean, Infinity Stones are like all the colors, though, right?
I know,
there's
but
a rainbow, like it's Infinity Stones.
I don't know, man.
No, the Kang spider lines breaking were some colors like this as well.
I don't know, man. Time stone, reality stone, space stone, mind stone over here a
Look,
little
if
bit.
you watch the Loki
Oh, that is
series,
5.
you'll-
Yeah, you're
I'll
right.
say,
That is
if
5.
if you watch the Loki series, you'll see how much they downplay those.
I know.
I don't know how much they want them to matter again.
It's great. It's great.
Well, what is it? The grand, whatever, the old ancient one, basically said, "Oh, you don't want these stones because these stones will break the timeline." Well, guess what? The timeline's broken.
It's broken. All right, guys. I'm just going for reach. Why not? Why not? But anyway, thanks for hanging out with us. It is time to say goodnight. Be smart. Be safe. Gold Squadron out.